Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. So we have the case of Cuba Gooding Jr. is accused of forcible touching. This is in New York. Other places, parts of the country, is called unwanted touching or unwanted approaches, or a battery, some sort of battery. I reviewed the actual tape, and I did see the tape. The video, the CCT of it, and for those of you who did not see it, Cuba Gooding Jr. is sitting with his girlfriend. I believe it's at an event or he's out in public. I don't know the surroundings, the circumstances. Anyway, he is sitting by himself, not by himself. The two of them are sitting alone on a couch sort of setting, sort of bench sort of setting. However, it is not a love seat. It is a extended bench. So there's room for other people to sit there. The woman actually approaches Cuba Gooding Jr. and his girlfriend, and she sits down with them, uninvited, on the other side of the girlfriend. She cannot sit next to Cuba Gooding Jr. because he is at the end of the bench where there is an actual armrest. So, between he and the accusing woman is his girlfriend. He seems to be very polite. He's talking, takes her hand and kisses it, and that's the end of the video. Now, his attorney and his attorney's staff members all sat and watched the entire 2-hour sequence of them at this place, Cuba Gooding Jr. and his girlfriend, to see if there's some other goings on that they missed from this woman, from the little clip that you see, right, of this woman approaching them, sitting down very close to the girlfriend, I might add. You know, unless you were very familiar with somebody, would you sit right next to them? Like, say, as close as Cuba Jr. was sitting next to his own girlfriend. So she sat very close. She sat down, which, if you are not of a very polite, from a good-mannered society, that if you're not brought up like that, you don't sit down next to somebody that you do not know. You stand, especially if they're in an intimate situation, a boyfriend, girlfriend. That's something that you really don't want to infringe upon. But she did. She sat as close to the girlfriend as Cuba Jr. Gooding was sitting next to his girlfriend, right? So the lawyer, along with, in my opinion, said the right thing. He said there is not a scintilla of evidence that Cuba Gooding Jr. did anything wrong. And he says, and he is shocked, and I am shocked, because this is a case of the accusation can be readily confirmed or disproven by the CCTV with one viewing. There is no need to have any other viewing, because there is actual video footage of the entire incident. It was all of what, 60 seconds, and you saw everything that went on. The accuser said that he did the full motion. The full motion. This full motion did not occur. So, for any of you females out there who think you should just automatically side with a woman who says anything about a man, please, this woman is doubling down and saying, no, he did this, he did that. No. He was being polite because he is a superstar to this woman, had a conversation to this woman who obviously interrupted he and his girlfriend. And his lawyer said he hopes that the district attorney, although he arrested Cuba Gooding Jr., turned himself in voluntarily after the accusation was made public, that he was arrested and it's going to go to trial. This literally, so let me explain a little bit. I'm a third-year law school student, right? Let me explain a little bit. To bring somebody to trial, the DA has to believe that there is some sort of possibility that there could be a conviction. That means that the DA would have to see the evidence and that there is a preponderance of the evidence that the crime in question could have actually occurred. In this instance, unless there is some secret video footage that the public hasn't seen, that the news people haven't seen, even the gossip columnists haven't seen, unless there's something secret, this should not even go to trial. He should not have been handcuffed. He was handcuffed, paraded around in public. All the paparazzi took pictures of him after he turned himself in. Now, his attorney, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s attorney, said he can't believe that he was arrested. I can't believe he was arrested. They should have been like, oh no, go home. This is he. And his attorney said he hopes that the DA would vigorously prosecute this woman who has clearly falsely accused Cuba Gooding Jr. in this case. And that after viewing the tape, there is not a scintilla of evidence to corroborate her story. And yet, after they have told her, ma'am, we have video footage of the entire incident, she is doubling down on the story. But wait, there's more. Cuba Gooding Jr. has a lawyer. He probably has security guards. He probably has all sorts of protections to defend himself, not only in court, but in real life. While this is going on, two men had very tragic goings-ons of women accusing them, to the point where in one incident there was CCTV footage of the incident where a 16-year-old girl accused an older man of doing something to her. She went home to tell this to her 17-year-old brother, who then located the old man and beat him, and he passed away in the hospital. When they reviewed the CCTV footage, they found that the young woman passed by the old man, and that was it. Now, I hope the 16-year-old and the 17-year-old and the parents, whoever they might be, all get prosecuted. But wait, there's more. A 70-year-old woman accused a man of doing something to her. They arrested him. and took him through the whole rigmarole. Of course, there was CCTV footage. This occurred in a metro. So this starlet, who used to be a big-time star before she turned 70 years old, and there was footage. The man had a cell phone in this hand and a newspaper in this hand, and he passed by her. The CCTV footage in this case is a 1-second timed footage. It's not a continuous track. Video footage. So they brought in the CCTV expert for this particular case, and he said, what you do not see is half of a second. So that if you see, in this case, the man taking a step with his left foot, and a step, the next frame is going to be him taking a step with his right foot. In this case, this woman claimed that he reached up her skirt and did this and that and the other and blah, 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 blah. In the CCTV footage, he took a left step and a right step. The left step was in front of her. The right step was behind her. She had already passed. She claimed that everybody stopped, that everybody looked at them, and everybody was aghast, and that she fell back, and she was in shock and in awe. The CCTV footage had none of this. And when they went to actually check to see if there were witnesses to any of this, nobody said anything. In fact, they said no. That they did not see any such thing occur. But the 50-year-old designer guy who had just come from his design office and was getting off of work and had absolutely nothing on his brain about a 70-year-old woman, was arrested and thrown in jail for some time, and then went through the entire prosecution of that occurring. And there you have it. He was, of course, later let go, and nothing happened to the lady. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're getting to a point now that not only are women not being hired, they're not even being interviewed. They're getting to a point that in Washington, D.C., they are not even spoken to. It doesn't even make sense to hire female staffers because nobody will talk to them in Washington, D.C. So you have an instance, well, the female staffers, female whatever, will not receive any sort of meeting, definitely will not have any sort of dinner alone with a man, and will not have any sort of one-on-one meetings with a man in DC. It's not that the female won't have the meeting, it's that the man won't have a meeting. And finally, I'll leave you with an instance in sports where the same exact thing happened. Of course, this is the female in the locker room, and then so they're now saying that they believe that since women will not allow male reporters in the locker room, that they should stop allowing female reporters in the locker room because of the environment that all of this is now creating. Because believe it or not, and it's kept out of the news quite a bit, there are tons of accusations against sports figures. These are women accusing sports figures for the purpose of gaining money. And because of this, it creates an environment that is saturated with women going after sports figures for money and making accusations. This means that the sports figures who all of a sudden meet women after they become sports figures, you know, in the NFL, MLB, whatever it is, wind up being the ones who later then accuse them of this and that and the other. Or they have already gone through several men and they have accused them of all sorts of battery and stuff like that, when in fact it comes out that the woman is in fact the one who is battering the man. So one such incident was a woman accused a man, a sports figure, of being battered by the man. It just so happened that there was a camera in the room and it showed clearly her attacking the man. Luckily, there was video footage of that. Gentlemen, it's time to, it's time to pull the plug. And just, it's time to pull the plug. I'm going to be investing in some female robots. I don't know about you. Thank you all for watching. I have merchandise, t-shirts, tank tops, half tops, countertops. I don't know what you call them. I have tops, hoodies. So check out. I'll leave it in the information box and in the comment. Thank you all for watching. And your keyword to say that you watched this entire video is gentleman. Thank you all for watching.